All right, Harmony Science Academy students, welcome back to another video. You guys keep in mind all this material is meant to make you a stronger college student, to make you a stronger student coming out of high school. So it's a win-win no matter how you look at it, okay? The first thing that you guys want to do is you want to get online and look up the definition for exponents and order of operations, okay? Even if you're familiar with these, it benefits you to get online, find out a formal definition, include examples, and it'll get you a lot more comfortable with today's material. Okay. So officially, the name of the lesson for this video is exponents and order of operations. Okay. We're gonna have 36 problems to look at, and they vary in difficulty and they vary in scope. Okay, so these initial problems are gonna involve exponents, and the second half will involve order of operations. Okay, so about every 6 problems we go from easy to medium to hard, so be on the lookout for that. And once we get to the second set, after problem 18, once again we'll have order of operations, easy, medium, hard. Okay, so let's go and just sample through this. See what we can find here. Okay, you want to jot these down in your notes. So let's go and start off with, let's say, good old number 1. Okay, now the one thing that, again, a lot of these topics are simply review. You've covered them in other classes. Sometimes it just takes more exposure for it to be retained. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so here we're being asked to simplify. Your answer should contain only positive exponents. Okay, so if there's a negative exponent, we're gonna have to address that. So here we have 2n times 3n squared. We're not adding, we're multiplying. Okay, so we don't have to have like terms. Now you guys would remember that when you have a variable and no exponent, it's implied to be a 1. So we're going to multiply the coefficients. We've got 6, and n to the first times n squared means you add the exponents. So you have n, I guess we can go real slow here and say something like this. Okay, 6 n cubed. Okay, this part I'm going real slow. It's important to understand that when you're multiplying, okay, these two terms, the n's, or in this case, or in any case, as far as it being a similar or the same variable, you go ahead and add the exponents. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. All right, so let's go ahead and look at, let's try number 4. And again, you want to jot these down in your notebook as notes. Okay, you can transfer this later onto your your daily work. You do want to have it saved in your notes for future reference. So let's look at number 4. Okay, this one looks interesting. So 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, and again, when you guys turn in work, you want to write the problem out. You want to include the steps if it's if the steps are important, and if you can afford to, in the early problems, just write the answer. I'll work with you again so long as you set up the problem. Okay, so here we have x to the third times x to the 0. Again, all you do is add the exponents. Okay, so you have, now keep in mind that this right here, something for you guys that you want in your notes, is x, anything to the 0 power is 1. Okay, so this is 3 times 1, so it's really just 3, but it can be written expanded like that. Okay, this is very nice to have in your notes. Okay, just like this right here. Okay, we'll write it out here. N is the same as n to the first. Okay, that's nice to have, to the first. Okay, all right, so you'll do some of those. Leave the mediums, and 18, they seem to be getting tougher, so let's go ahead and jump towards something like 14. Okay, now in this case you've got a numerator and a denominator. Okay, and more importantly, you've got variables to different exponents, okay? And here, this exponent is taking this expression and raising it to a second exponent, okay? So this is going to be a little different because you're not multiplying, you're raising it to a power, okay? So the first thing we want to do is we want to distribute the second power. So we have 2 squared, okay? Pay attention in this case, okay? You don't add them because it's u squared squared. You're actually going to multiply the exponents, okay? So that's 4. And this is v negative third raised or squared. So that's going to be v to the negative 6, okay, over, this is negative v squared, okay, times negative u squared squared, okay, and then we have v to the 4th squared, okay. Now notice that these I took care of, multiplied it pretty quickly, okay, it didn't look too messy. Down here it got a little messy, so I didn't multiply it just yet. I'm gonna go and go a little slow to make it obvious, okay. Now something you guys want to have in your notes is that if you have 2 cubed squared, that's the same as 2 cubed times 2, which means it's 2 to the 6th power, okay? Now I'm being a little informal here with the rules. Again, you've seen this stuff in the past. This is just a refresher. It's giving you a chance to practice this. If you're struggling, that's where I come into play. That's where your shoulder partner comes into play. And we can go a lot slower, okay? All right, so we're not done here. Let's go ahead and continue. Okay, I'm going to continue over here. All right, so 2 squared is 4. U to the 4th. V to the negative 6. Okay. Now, before I continue, remember what the rules or what the instructions were is your answer should contain only positive exponents, okay? So this one's negative. Pay attention to how I'm going to deal with that in a bit, okay? Let me just go and finish this off. This is v squared. This is u to the 4th. And this is v to the 8th, okay? All right, so next from here, we're going to go even further, okay? We're going to combine like terms, so pay attention, okay? Don't focus on the steps as if it's difficult. Just understand you're going in motion, okay? You're following simple rules, okay? And appreciate that you can solve or simplify a problem like this, okay? It's a valuable skill to have, okay? So again, appreciate more the process. Be glad that you're at that level, okay? All right, so we're going to combine what we can up here. We can't combine anything. Down here, apparently we can, so let's rewrite it again. Okay, so we'll go this way. 4u to the 4th, v negative 6, over, notice that this is v squared times v to the 8th. Now here the question is, should I multiply or add them? Okay. If you said add them, good. Okay. Because it's not v squared to the 8th power, it's v squared times v to the 8th. Okay, here you add the exponents. And finally, we'll go one more step. Okay, we're going to go, we're going to deal with this negative 6, so check this out, okay? I've got 4u to the 4th on top. This negative, it's in the numerator, okay? So for us to get rid of this negative exponent, you simply bring it down here and it becomes positive, okay? That should trigger your memory from having done these in the past. U to the 4th. I'm rewriting this part, okay? And I'm going to bring this guy down so it becomes v to the 6th. Now it's positive, not negative, but it used to be on top of the fraction, not here on the bottom, okay? And as you guys can see, we can now simplify even further, okay? So we have 4u to the 4th. We have u to the 4th. And what do we do here? Multiply or add? Okay, we said add, good. And we can go a step further, right? U to the 4th divided by u to the 4th cancels. And we have 4 over v to the 16th. Okay. If you can handle that, great. If not, guess what? We can always do some examples with our shoulder partners, or we can all combine, join forces, and do it as a class, okay? All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next set of problems. Okay, order of operations. So let's do a couple of these. I think these are a little more straightforward. You guys know your PEMDAS. So here, right, parentheses, I have to do 5. Right, you guys want to write the problem, go one step at a time. So we've done parentheses, right? We could even preserve them if you'd like. Then square 25. Okay, that's 19. Let's see if we can get a little more advanced here. Okay, let's go ahead and look at this one, I guess, right here. There's just so many to choose from, so we'll do this one and one more. Let's do this one. Okay, so let's see, left to right, I should be able to add this. So I got 4 plus negative 6, so that's going to give me negative 2. That's fine, right? So I dealt with that. And here I have a subtraction. Before I can subtract, I have to deal with this division, right? A fraction is division, so I'm left with negative 1. And that's going to go ahead and produce negative 2 plus 1, which equals negative 1. Okay? So those should be fun to work. And let's come down here to the bottom. Okay? Evaluate each expression, PEMDAS. So these are set up a little different. Okay, don't be intimidated. Again, you guys have dealt with these before. So let's go ahead and look at, I guess, well, we'll go 32. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is substitute. So we have z times y is 10. Every time you substitute, you want to include parentheses. And then I want to include the original parentheses minus z. Okay. And that's the beauty of the parentheses. They help organize things so you don't get mixed up. This parenthesis was already there. Minus 10. Close parenthesis. Okay. And see this z, I should have replaced it with a negative 1. Okay. So let's go ahead and put it in parentheses, negative 1. All right. So now we can allow PEMDAS to do what PEMDAS does. Now there's a lot of parentheses here. Okay. So let's go ahead and, you see this, these two values are within this parentheses. So let's do that. Okay. 10 plus 1 is 11. So that part's done. Okay. We'll include this, the negative 10. And we won't do too much, so we'll leave that 10 right there. Close that parenthesis and the negative 1. Okay. All right, so now we'll go ahead and focus where? We've got this set of parentheses, so let's go and take care of this. All right, so inside this large parenthesis, we got 10 times, excuse me, 11, which is 110. Minus 10. Okay. Excuse me, before I multiply these two, let's go and take care of these parentheses. 110 minus 10 is 100. And lastly, we go ahead and multiply that out. We get negative 100. Excuse me. All right. So we'll go ahead and leave the rest of them for you guys. We'll see you in class. Okay.